A couple of years ago now, 22-year-old Ricardo Goldborn actually entered into a GameStop in Conyers, Georgia, and he spoke with the clerk behind the desk, and he told him that he wanted a PlayStation 4. And Ricardo just he just kind of stands around in the store. He was in the store for over half an hour just standing around, and he made the store associates nervous. At one point, you can even see one of the associates telling another one to keep their eye on him. They don't know what he's gonna do, but he's making them nervous. And eventually, Ricardo tries to go behind the counter, and you see the clerks stop him and tell him, no, you're not allowed to be back here. And he tells them that he's trying to buy that PlayStation 4, and they say, well, you can't do it back here, you got to go around to the other side. So Ricardo walks around the counter, and then he sees his opportunity. He actually jumps over the counter, he grabs the PlayStation and the controller and the cords, and then he hops back over the countertop, and out the front door he goes. A Good Samaritan actually saw him run out of the store with the PlayStation, and they watched him get into a vehicle out in the parking lot, and they were able to get a tag number. So the GameStop employees called 911, and the Conyers Police Department showed up to investigate, and they were given this tag number, and they were able to quickly enter it into their system, and they learned the identity of 22-year-old Ricardo Goldborn.
Jumped over the counter or whatever.
All I heard was assault. That's why I didn't come straight here. I thought we were just looking for a
it
guy.
didn't come out quite right.
I need to see a picture of him though, because I think they're wrong about the car he got in. I think I saw the truck, and if it is, I can get it off
it was
Go ahead.
I think it was like a 90 Suburban.
Do we have any further reference to maybe a color of a small passenger vehicle?
That's him?
Yeah, that's him right there.
He was in here for, they said, roughly an hour before he did it.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, felt suspicious about it anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was in here so long and he kept asking about different systems, and he said he wanted to get both an Xbox and a PS4, and I said, well, what do you want both of them for?
We had D-Day team. You guys.
Tom Covington. Not Covington. I think that's Jordan.
This Tom, can I help you? You need the serial number? Well, he can't be there yet. But, yeah. Yeah, it happened, well, it's been about 20 minutes. Let me give you the serial number.
Yeah, gloves on?
Mm-mm. No, he doesn't have gloves on.
But she's coming back to tell me he was just behind the counter.
Yeah, she said she came.
Did he touch anything along the counter here? You like put his hand on it or anything, or
No.
you can kind of just wind back to where he's back there.
He never had anything in his hands this whole time he was here that I saw, because I was watching him like a hawk.
Okay. Yeah, he's trying not to.
Yeah. Thank you for calling GameStop.
Did she give you guys witness statements? If you could start filling these out. I know he came over there, so we're about to process all that back behind the counter.
What's this?
You guys can fill that out.
There's actually two of these. Regular Rainbow Six Siege in year 2.
2 days later.
We should be able to
So if we're gonna have a rock unit meet us here and just
Yeah, I got one
transport
of my guys on their way to transport.
Okay.
In the meantime, we do have a search warrant for the residents to recover a little bit of property. I think it's just going to be them inside there.
Well,
Hey, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Sergeant State, and I talked to you on the phone real quick. Can I come in and talk to you? Just wipe my feet on. So I'll meet like this. My name is Sergeant Melissa State, and this is my partner, Detective Salvi. Ricardo does have a warrant. He went into a GameStop 2 days ago and jumped the counter at the GameStop. Jumped a counter. Physically jumped the counter. Kind of didn't wrestle or anything, but kind of put his hands on an employee and stole a PlayStation from behind the counter. So kind of cut and dry. He didn't hurt anybody violently. He didn't point any weapons, but it still counts as a robbery for us because it was in the immediate presence and it was a snatching and that kind of thing. So 2 days ago, we went and got a search warrant for him because we knew he lived here.
Right.
So we would like to search wherever he lives or stays for that PlayStation because we think he may have brought it home, presumably to play it.
I see the room right here.
Okay.
Are you on sovereign? Is he claiming to be a sovereign citizen?
Let me hold that for you. I'm going to write you a property receipt so you know exactly what we took out of the house. We'll let them get on about their business. I know we have a unit coming to meet you, Stephen, but they'll probably be here in a minute anyway. We're not too far away.
Sure.
Pretty cool deal the last 2 days, so it's better.
Is this what he put in the?
Oh, I want that.
What he put in the window tonight?
Hey, would you mind looking for maybe where you put your trash? It's a blue PlayStation box that would have like come from GameStop.
Right.
Maybe, I don't know if you tossed it in the garage or maybe put it in the trash. So let me show you something else just while I'm standing in your kitchen. This is the kind of the documents that he's got, and so I don't know what he's gotten into or whatever, but this was just laying right here. And I think he stuck that to your front window to communicate with us the other day.
And what they're referring to is that the day of the robbery, officers actually went to Ricardo's home to try to speak with him, and Ricardo refused, and he wouldn't let them in. And as they were trying to talk to him, he stuck the sovereign citizen papers up into the window, telling law enforcement that they needed to read that he wasn't talking to them. And it forced law enforcement to then go get a search warrant for his house and for this PlayStation.
I don't know if that's something you want stuck on your window or not.
No, I don't even know what it is. Yeah, I don't even know. Yeah.
Can we take that with us?
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, basically, if you do a kind of a search on sovereign citizens,
Right.
like for example, they'll make a license plate tag that looks like a actual Georgia tag.
Right.
And if they get stopped, they will try to not answer the officer's questions and say that they're free to travel along the land, that they don't have to have a driver's license, they're not required to have state IDs, and that they'll post a bunch of these kinds of things like this right to travel, the right to a mode of conveyance. They're all absolute rights, is what they say, and no, it's not legal. It's not. If I were to stop somebody for speeding, and they were to try to throw this mumbo jumbo at me, it's not a legal. It's, like it says, no state shall convert a liberty into a privilege, and they'll try to quote all of these court cases and things like that, and they'll try to throw all this, and they'll have a bunch of papers. They'll hand an officer a bunch of stuff, and they'll go, here. And while the officer's sitting there, and thumbing through it, sometimes they're prone to be violent, and they'll carry weapons. And while the officer's shuffling through the papers, they pull a gun out and try to assault the officer. And that's a lot of times it's a sad thing that happens because they think that they can just, car titles, car registrations, all of that stuff. So,
are these things, are they true?
No, ma'am, they're not true. And if you do a search go to like Google and just type in sovereign citizen and see what kinds of stuff you get. Sometimes you'll find a bunch of stuff on YouTube, sovereign citizen traffic stops, and you'll see all the traffic stops, and sometimes they're pretty bad. It's not at all. There are other more legitimate, more.
So like a code thing.
Almost.
You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you complete the property receipt yet? Thank you.
Thank y'all.
All right, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Ricardo Goldburn was arrested this day and charged with robbery. He was put on probation, and because this was several years ago now, he has completed all of that. And it looks like, according to his LinkedIn page, today he is a musician and a Lyft driver around the Atlanta area.